Be kind. Here we go, folks.
Have a video zero at 12 on the
Yeah, he doesn't even look.
Alright, let's get our notes out. We got a little bit more to do, and then we got some practice work for you. So we're on page 27 of our notes. And we're ready for problem number 2. And I'm missing Nevaeh and Finn.
I'm here today.
All right, are we looking at problem number 2A on page 27? Okay. So here we go. We're going to write the polynomial function with 0, so that means x equals 2 and x equals I. And then it contains the point -1/8. So in other words, it's some kind of thing, and it has the point -1/8 on it. That is not a 0. These are the zeros. Now, immediately popping into your head should be, wait a minute, if I is a 0, so is negative I. All right? Remember, imaginary roots come in pairs. Period. Okay? Miles. Now, if these are the roots, then can't I translate those into factors? We did this the other day. What would the factor be? If x equals 2, x minus 2, and if x equals I, x minus I, and if it equals negative I, x plus I. You with me? Now it says multiply it out. So I'm going to multiply it out, and I always start with anything that's got an I in it, because those will cancel a bunch of stuff. So that's FOILing it out, just multiplying it out, because that's what the directions say. FOIL. Looks like these are going to cancel. And what about negative I squared? I heard -1, I heard 1. It's 1. Because I squared is -1. So a negative I squared would be +1. And then we're going to multiply that by x minus 2. And we're going to end up with, I'll do it here, x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 2. We're not done, but are you okay so far? Why aren't we done? Because there are zillions of cubic polynomials that have these as roots. It's a little hard with the imaginaries for you to visualize. But let's say we had a regular cube here. Okay. Does that thing have those roots? Yeah, sure it does. But what about this one? Does that one have those roots? Yeah. And in fact, could I draw more that have those roots? Yes, so I'm not done. I got the framework of the problem, but I don't know how high it goes and how, whether it's upside down. I don't know any of that. How am I gonna figure that out? That guy right there's gonna do it for me. Because I know that in this equation, there is a number that's gonna control the direction and height of the picture. If y is 8, then x is -1, put -1 in. So it looks like that number must be -4/3. Check my arithmetic. Does that look okay? So my equation is -4/3 times that, which, since it says multiply it out, I will. That will be -4/3 x cubed plus 8/3 x squared minus 4/3 x plus 8/3. And there is our answer. All right, are you ready to try another one? You guys came in here with all this enthusiasm, and I've already destroyed that. Here we go. We have zeros at 1 and 1 plus 2 off. Now, this is going to be a big problem, but we're going to hang tough and get it done. Wait, I already did this.
Yeah.
Wait, I keep going?
Well, I wasn't here.
2.6.
I wasn't here, so.
No, I'm not going to keep going. I already did this. Sorry about that. Well, that was good review.
I
Anyway.
like
Was that the same answer I got when I did it before?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Shoot. All right, then. Here's what we're gonna do now. That was good practice. Here's what we're gonna do. Here is some review work.
And all the X's? And all the X's?
Why, I was
Thinking about your AI.
No, no, I was thinking about math, but I wasn't thinking we already did it.
Right?
You guys just let me hammer on.
Okay, that's all I He's here today.
How did we get this?
They can take it for 3 to 6 months.
All right.
And we put it back here.
Tomorrow, we're gonna have a quiz. And we're gonna practice a couple here. We haven't done this yet, I know.
Which side?
So let's start on the side that says, what do you got, period 1. So we're gonna start on the side that says period 1, and it says list, by the way, the two sides are the same, just different problems. All right, so list the possible rational roots. List, so we're gonna make a list. All right, so what do we know about our possible rational roots? Factors of 7, which would be just 7 and 1, over factors of 3. Now, the list then of individual numbers, this isn't a list. the list of individual numbers would be plus or minus 7 and 1, but also 7/3 and 1/3, because it's all of these over all of these, all the possible combinations. So 7/1, 1/1, 7/3, 1/3. So those 8 numbers are your possible rational roots. Okay, you all right with that? Okay, next, find the zeros. Now, sometimes we can factor by grouping. This one has too many terms to do that. So, what are we gonna do? Synthetic division. We're gonna guess a number, and the numbers we're gonna guess, you don't have to necessarily write them down if you don't want to, but at least keep in the back of your mind, they have to be factors of 20. So don't say 3. 3 isn't gonna work. So what would you like to try? 5? Oh my gosh,
Let's go.
you did it,
Wow.
unless I messed up. So it says find the zeros, so one of our zeros is 5. This gave us 0, that's why it's called a 0. It has a remainder of 0.
So one of our zeros is 5.
Yep.
And then do we plug?
So you have to set it up so it's like
You can do a
one
like
X
a- like one
minus
or-
Now be careful, Jimmy. Actually, I can't, because this problem was an x to the 4th,
Yeah.
so this is gonna be
X is better.
x to the 3rd plus x squared plus 4x plus 4.
And you have to do synthetic division again.
You can do synthetic division again unless you're tuned in. This one now does group.
Yes.
If you don't notice that, can you do synthetic division again on that? You could. However, now your possibilities are only gonna be factors of 4, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and group this guy. This is like a new problem now. This is my new problem, and it does group. Now remember what your goal was. Your goal was to find the zeros. So you guessed one, you got it. I may see another one right here. Not one, -1, right? Everybody see that? And then this is gonna give me a couple, but be careful. Does that factor? No. But you wanna know it's zeros, so set it equal to 0 and solve, and what are you gonna get? Plus or minus 2i? Square root of -4? Everybody okay with that? You guys are good at guessing, you got a great guess here. If 5 had not worked, I would have had to guess again. I just keep guessing so I get one that works. Any question about that before I start erasing it? All right, next question. For fun, on this trip, I'm selling old Math League contest sheets. I currently sell 100 sheets for $1 each. For each 10-cent decrease, I will sell 20 more sheets. Maximize my revenue. What is my revenue right now? Right now, at this moment, I am selling 100 papers for $1 each. So that's my current revenue. But what is gonna happen to my price? What am I doing to my price? Right now it's 1, but what am I doing to it?
Decreasing it by 10.
Decreasing it in increments of 10 cents. So don't say just minus 0.1, it's increments of 0.1. So 0.1 times 1, 0.1 times 2, 0.1 times 3, and so on. Now what is happening to the number of papers I have then? Right now it's 100, but that is actually going up in increments of 20. So the price is coming down in increments of 10 cents. The number of papers is going up in increments of 20. All right, what am I gonna do now? Problem talks about maximum. Well, if I multiply that out, won't I have a negative x squared? Which is what shape? That? And if I want the maximum, aren't I just looking for the vertex? Negative b over 2a. So don't I have to have my equation multiplied out? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna FOIL it out. So I get negative 2x squared plus 10x plus 100, if I did my math right. I did all that in my head, so that could possibly not be right. That look okay?
Yeah.
All right, so negative b over 2a is going to be negative 10 over negative 4, so 2.5, 5 halves, 2.5. Now, 2.5 does not answer the question. That is x.
We plug that in.
So now if I come up here, if I put 2.5 in right here, that would be 150. Check my math, is that right? I think so. So this is 150, and that's 150 watts. Sheets of paper. So the question says, oh no, that isn't the question. That's good to know, but it's not the question. If I put 2.5 in here, what is that? .75? What's that? The price. So what price will maximize the revenue? 75 cents. 0.75? 75 cents. What is the maximum revenue? I gotta multiply those. And it's $112.50. At the vertex, I'm gonna sell 150 sheets of paper for 75 cents each. That's gonna be my profit, or my income. Anybody have a question about that? All right, number 4, here we go. Write the equation of the curve. You do not need to multiply it out. All right, here we go. What do we have? Where are you gonna start? With the zeros. So that'll give us our factors, x plus 3 squared, y. Balances. X minus 2, not squared. And we're not done, we're half done. But we're not done because we have to account for that random point up there, negative 1, 3. So that, just like what I did before, we got some kind of coefficient out here. I'll plug in 3 for my y, negative 1 for my x's, and figure it out. So negative 1 plus 3 squared. Did you get negative 1/4? Gotta keep an eye on that arithmetic. Anybody else get negative 1/4? Did you get something different? So here's my answer. Put that negative 1/4 right here. And that is your answer. All right, are we good on that one? Everybody okay? You don't have to multiply it out, so you can just leave it like that. What do we do here? Plug in a negative 2t, so 2 negative 2t squared minus negative 2t plus 1. A lot of negatives going on in there, so just be careful. But Michael's right, every time you see an x, you're plugging in a negative 2t. So square first. So this first one is 8t squared plus 2t plus 1, and that's the answer. Don't do anything to it. Don't, quadratic formula it or something, because you're not solving that. You're simply figuring out what happens when I plug in negative 2t. That's what happens right there. Now the next one, you gotta remember what inverse variation looks like. So P varies inversely as Q. Stop right there. What does that look like? P equals K over Q. What would it be if they varied directly? P equals KQ. That would be direct. This is inverse. Find K when P is 4 and Q is 7. That's just 28, isn't it? That was way too easy back in those days. All right, number 7. Find the remainder when this thing is divided by this and show all your work. I can't remember if we talked about this or not. Find the remainder. What would be one way of finding the remainder? Doing synthetic division. What is What's causing me to pause a little bit though when I look at this problem?
X minus one.
Root 77.
There wouldn't I have to have a whole bunch of zeros in that? Because remember, when you do synthetic division, if you're starting with the 77, you have to have all of these powers accounted for. And definitely doable, but it's going to be a lot. So did we talk about the other way you can do this?
Regular division.
Huh?
Regular division?
Oh, no. Polynomial long division, you can do that if you want. I'll let you do that. Let's look at something real quickly here, with a smaller problem. Let's suppose that we have, x cubed plus x squared minus 8x plus 2, and we're gonna divide that by x minus 3. All right? This is not this problem, I'm showing you something here. So you would do the division, what would go in the box out here? 3, yep. And don't need any zeros, so I'll do this division. And it looks like, if I didn't make any mistakes, it looks like my remainder is 14. Now, watch this. Take your dividend here, the thing you were dividing, this guy right here, and think of him as a function. So just whatever you're dividing, think of it as a function. And then plug into that, plug in the same number that you divided by. All right, so I divided by 3, so I'm just gonna plug in 3. So 3 cubed plus 3 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 2. Now, let's work this out. 27 plus 9, you got a calculator, that's 36. Minus 24 is 12, plus 2 is, looky there. So when you plug in the number that you were going to divide by, it will give you the remainder. Now, it doesn't give you the other stuff, but if all you're interested in is the remainder, then you can just plug it in. So will that help me on this problem? Oh, yes, because my function is x to the 77th minus 3x to the 15th plus x to the 4th minus 8. And what am I going to plug into it? 1. So 1 minus 3 plus 1 minus 8. It looks like my remainder is negative 9. Easy. All right, let's turn it over. And let's have some volunteers. These are the exact same problems in a different order, different numbers, the same kinds of problems. Does anybody feel confident in doing number 1? Listing the possible rational roots on the board. Thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate you very much. Here's a marker that works. All right, go down to that end. And then is there somebody, is there somebody who feels confident finding the zeros? This will be a little more work, so you can bring a friend if you want. Finding the zeros in number 2. down at your paper so we don't make eye contact. Who will give this a shot? Number 2?
Can you line that up?
Yeah, absolutely.
You go with it. What are we doing? We're going to number 2. Let's go. Break.
And what should the rest of you be doing? Braden, man, what should the rest of you be doing? Working on number 2. Stop it right now. Your friends. Hey. So you can't hear the conversation maybe, but they're up here saying, okay, it's gotta be 1 or 5. Are they right? Yeah, they're picking 1 or 5. Yeah, 1 or 5. Hmm? No, you can do that without a calculator. Don't be a baby. You can do that without a calculator. What's maximum mean? Which is the, what shape is that?
We're not done. We're not done.
What shape is that? It's x squared, so what shape is it?
You know, I was 95.
No, no, it's not, we're not,
I actually hope.
what shape is an x squared equation? Yeah, and so you want the maximum, so what are you looking for? Wait a minute, how did that happen?
Can we just do x through x through x?
You're taking x squared out of the first two. What do you take out of the second two? No, it doesn't equal the second. You're taking, no, no.
Yeah,
Your group. So you're taking an x squared out of here, x squared out of x one squared. One is the only thing you can take out. If you're gonna factor by group, you have to take something out of each pair. So then you have your x plus one. Then you have. Okay. Alright, how you guys coming?
No, just one come out of the wrap. Yeah, no, I do it now. Is it I or one? It's I. Does the one come out of a room? Does root 1 just come out and just be? Yeah. It's just I. So what do we have now? Wait, how do why do we do this again?
Yeah. We're the one. Alright. You guys got it?
Does it come out?
If you look on the center, this goes over here.
They play this, that maybe this second. No, they just did.
Alright, let's look at what the boys did. They started out by guessing a number. Did you guess a number? They guessed 5. And when they divided 5 out, they were left with x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1. This is what they were left with. And they said, okay, I'm gonna guess again. This is a cube. You can't use the quadratic formula on that. You need to do something different. So they said, we're gonna guess again, and they guessed -1. And that left them with this, which they then solved and got plus or minus I. It's beautiful. Some of you observe that after your first division, You could factor by grouping. That's great. That's great. It doesn't change your answer. Everybody's gonna get the same answer. You can always guess and divide. In this case, the guesses were very few, so it was not bad. But if it factors by grouping, you can absolutely do that too. And there comes that -1. Right there, we do that -1, and then their eyes are gonna come from that. So your answers are exactly what they wrote. You might have gotten those in a different order, and you might have gotten them in a little different way, but those are the answers. Does anybody have a question about that problem? Thank you to all. Jimmy said, we didn't talk about his, the PRRs are ±1 and ±1/2.
Might work.
Yep, good work. Everybody okay with that? All right, now we got the height of a ball at time t. You guys, listen, this is just, it's a different problem, but it's just like the revenue problem we did a minute ago. What kind of an equation is this?
That's velocity.
Well, it's projectile motion. But this shape, this is a quadratic, and the negative, so this is a picture that looks like that. We're looking for the maximum. So all you need is a vertex, kids. You're looking for the vertex. Don't overcomplicate the problem.
Bang, bang, shrink.
Negative b over 2a
So we just got
will be negative 64
-30.
over negative 32, which is 2. So the vertex is at 2, comma,
Then you fill that bad boy.
looks like 64. I did my math right. Find the maximum height of the ball. This is the maximum coordinates. 2 is the t, the x. So that is the time. So 2 seconds. 64 is the y, or the height. So the answer is 64 feet. Everybody okay? So we are not complicating these problems. If it's an x² equation, it is either going to have a minimum or a maximum. And you can find them both with negative b over 2a. All right, when does the ball hit the ground? Well, I want you to think about this for a second. Ball's on the ground right here. It went up, and then it came down and hit the ground again. How long did it take it to get up to the top?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. It's a parabola with an axis of symmetry. How long does it take it to come down? Well, it's gonna hit it
4
for.
seconds.
It's gonna hit it for, because it takes it 2 more seconds to come down. Right? That isn't really in this chapter, but it's a good question. All right, number 4. You do not need to multiply it out. Do we have a volunteer or team of volunteers?
For which one?
Number 4.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
I mean, are you gonna do this one or are you next one?
Great question.
Are we serious?
All right, while they're up here doing that, the rest of you should be doing number 4.
That's for this section. So we got, well, that's
The biggest mistake that happens on problems like number 4 is we forget to put in the exponents. So make sure if you have any bounces that you're putting in the exponents.
2, x minus 1, x minus 2 squared. No, we're gonna put in that, so we're gonna go y equals a.
Did you remember to put a squared on the x minus 3? Jenny, did you do this problem, sweetie?
I'm still working on it.
Okay, it goes better when you're not talking. They got negative 532 as their coefficient. I watched them, I think they got it right.
You added.
Yeah, you could add. Good idea.
Those are almost Those are factors, so they didn't
I got you right there, bro.
There we go.
Paying attention, huh?
Is Agnes the only one that's squared?
Well, is that the only one that bounces? Alrighty,
Give him a second to load.
number 5. We're gonna find f of negative p squared. This looks like what we just did. Or kind of. F of negative p squared, we'll just plug in negative p squared for every x. So every time you see an x, you're gonna put in negative p squared. No matter what else is in there, x comes out, negative p squared goes in. X comes out, negative p squared goes in. What's negative p squared squared?
P squared. P to the fourth?
So 2p to the 4th plus p squared plus 1. So that's what you should end up with. All right, p varies directly as m. P varies directly as m. How does that look?
K, or K times
Oh, direct.
K is -8, M is 2, so P is -16. That could not be easier, but you do have to remember that relationship, that's direct variation. This would be inverse variation, if they varied inversely. All right, is -2 a lower bound? Oh my gosh,
We're looking.
this was a homework
No.
question.
It's not.
And some of the answers you people came up with are like, oh my goodness.
Gracious.
How do we tell if something is a lower bound? First, we gotta do the division. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that's a negative number. You can't answer this question until you do the division. So let's look at what happens when I do the division. Double check and make sure I did my division correctly. Is it a lower bound?
No.
No, because why?
It doesn't,
These numbers right here do not alternate in sign. It doesn't have anything to do with whether they're odd or even.
So what would we,
Signs, positive or negative, so you say no,
Signs do not.
because the result of the division does not produce alternating signs, or something like that in your own words. The signs of the answer don't alternate. So 1, -1, that looked promising. But then this would have to be something positive and then negative, right? That would be a lower bound if we had that answer. But we didn't get that, so it isn't a lower bound. What happens if it's an upper bound? They're all those numbers would be
pause.
positive, right? All right, I am gonna hand back yesterday's, your last quiz, so you can make sure you don't make the same mistakes, if you made any mistakes. Oh, Charlie. You're Michael.
I literally, you know why I didn't see this question.
It's so fast.
I got my things actually.
Another -1.
Or the.
Not good at it, you have 4 bonus points.
Thank you.
But you should, like, so they get, yeah, I did 0 math for 4 days.
Does anybody have a question
I didn't get
about?
mine.
You're right on the back.
Oh, it's probably stuck in there.
There's no red on it. You
Yeah.
can see it.
I didn't get mine terrible.
Here, here's the papers.
What about an idea?
These and those.
I didn't.
You got 100?
Okay, so here's what I wanna do. I'm gonna hand back all these homeworks also. And tonight, I want you to take a moment and look over the quizzes that I just returned. Oh, here's Jada's. Look over the quizzes that I just returned. And all the homeworks that I'm returning. And before we take our quiz tomorrow, I will answer a few questions. Okay? So.
Wait, why did I get
Did I see your homework?
Alright, did you guys hear what I just said? So it's
Basically,
on
that's
you
I know how to do it.
to look over all the stuff I'm returning,
I think they're right.
not the math things, but the other stuff. And you have questions. Before we take the quiz, I will answer a few of your questions.
Makes sense?
This is the first time I've ever got something.
5 times 3 is 13, I guess. So realistically, it should be So Brayden, that's what I'm questioning. 5 times 3 is 13.
Yeah, why did I take that? Some of your homework definitely lacks.
Wait, how did I get all would it take to do this? How did you see
All right, I've turned back everything that I have. So your job is to look, they get a quiz tomorrow, and it's going to look like those practice quizzes that we just did. So your job is to look at the quiz I returned. That a lot of you did great on, a few of you did not so great. Look that over, figure out what you did wrong, look at the homeworks I returned, figure out what you did wrong, and I'll go over those, a few of those questions before